Good morning. This is one of those days that you kind of hope to never have when you are producing live content. And Casey was supposed to join me. She's had a family emergency. So send Anne and her family all your best thoughts. They're in a hard transition. So just send them good thoughts and we will try to get Anne rescheduled if at all possible. And then I asked my good friend Linda Hinrichs if she would join me because when you're in a pinch, you can almost always go to a theater person and say, "Hey, can you join me in 3 minutes?" And she is trying valiantly to get on and having a terrible time. So I'm going to be just with me today, and I'm going to try something to see if it works. I can't tell if it's going to work or not. So I would love to pull something up for you to see. And if not, then I will just talk it through. I'm going to see what happens if I share my screen. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm just going to try it. Yeah, see, that doesn't make any sense. I don't need to see myself. Okay. Well, then we're going to stop this. And I'm going to read you some things that I came up with today. I wanted to know about how to turn 50 gracefully. My first 17 guests have had such fantastic answers to my questions. They've really given me food for thought. Maz and I were driving back from Minneapolis on Saturday, and he said to me, what have you learned so far from your conversations? And I was able to effortlessly pull something important from every single person. So they are going exactly the way I hoped they would. But I was curious to know, what would WikiHow say to me about how to turn 50 gracefully? First of all, these illustrations are the worst. Nothing about these makes me want to feel like I'm gracefully aging. Sorry that these are blurry. Look at this woman, and then I will like, please, she looks 85. And there's nothing wrong with being 85, but let's not make 50-year-olds look 85. How about? Okay, so set aside the illustrations. I'll put the link in the chat. But set that aside. Here are ways to gracefully turn 50. Explore your feelings about turning 50. You might tie them to feelings or experiences as you've gotten older. Healthier lifestyles and medical progress make 50 not as scary to turn as it used to. And there's ways to really stop and think about, what's your preconception of what a 50-year-old looks like? I know what mine is, and I don't fit it. In my mind, 50-year-olds really have stuff figured out. I referenced that with somebody else. I don't feel like I have much figured out at all. Here's a question. Do I know anyone who is 50? Yeah. Yes, I do. I'd like to meet the 50-year-old who doesn't know any other 50-year-olds. Some of this is kind of funny. Is there anything specifically that scares me about turning 50? Not really. But Ellen Schaefer talked about, sort of being that hard stop. Other people have talked about that too. And 50 feels a lot closer to a hard stop than at any other point. Okay, so the first one is explore your feelings about turning 50. I feel both fantastic about turning 50, and also, as it's getting closer and closer, I'm a little anxious isn't the right word, nervous isn't the right word. I'm a little I'm just aware of it. I'm very aware of it. 50 suddenly has a very solid feel to it. 50. So that's what I would say about it. If you're not yet 50, I'm curious to know what you're thinking. If you're close to 50 or if you're past 50, how do these questions land with you? Accept that you're turning 50 with grace. No one can turn back the clock. Instead, try accepting and heartily welcoming turning 50. So I have said this a couple of times. I have 3 good friends. Phyllis died in her 20s, Matthew died in his 30s, and Amy died in her early 40s. I wholeheartedly believe that all 3 of them would love to have had the opportunity to turn 50. Amy would be 50 next summer. Matt would be 50 in about 18 months, and Phyllis would be 50 in 10 years or something. But I have to believe that they would have loved the opportunity to ask the question of, how am I turning 50 gracefully? And they did not get that opportunity. So I'm trying to focus on that. And I'm not unhappy to be turning 50. I'm just shocked. I have the attitude that 50 is the new 30. No thanks. 30 was fine. 50, I think, will be better. Keep in mind that age is just a number, and repeat Mark Twain's, age is an issue of mind over matter. All right. Take stock of your accomplishments. Okay. This one is really interesting to me, and it's got me thinking about what Steve Grumman said yesterday about working with a coach who said to him, go back and look at all of your failures, and you 100% survived all of them. That might have just been a conversation he and I had when the camera was off. But we were talking about overcoming hard stuff. And so if he didn't say it on camera, that's what he said. He worked with his professional coach who said to him, let's lay out all of your failures. How many of them did you not overcome? Well, the answer is 0, because he's here. So take stock of your accomplishments. I don't do that very well. So I feel like my accomplishments are, I defied the odds of being a single mom. Some of you know that I sat in church Quinn's first Father's Day. So June of 1996. And the minister gave a truly horrifying sermon on the statistics of what happens to children of single mothers. And I know that he was trying to encourage men to be engaged in children's lives. But I think I might have been the only single mom in church that day. All I heard was, your kid's going to be a juvenile delinquent. Your kid won't finish high school. Your kid won't have good earning potential. Your kid will be an irresponsible adult. Failure, 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 failure. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'll never accomplish anything as extraordinary as Quinn Del Val. And I didn't do it alone, but I did do it. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I kept my marriage together in the midst of some really hard stuff. We stayed together, and we didn't just stay together, we're thriving. And that is not to judge anybody who doesn't stay in their marriage. I'm just telling you my accomplishments. I'm proud to have a master's degree. Doesn't matter why I got it. I'm super proud to have run the arts partnership for all this time. I am proud to have a theater degree. A lot of people think that's a stupid degree. It's my favorite and best degree. I'm proud to serve on the MSUM Foundation board. There's lots of things I'm proud of. And this question gave me the opportunity to stop and think, oh, yeah, what are my accomplishments? I've done some stuff. I don't feel like I've done that much, but I have. And so at any point in your life, whether you're close to 50 or not, stop and take stock of what you've accomplished. It's too easy to just keep plowing on ahead and to not recognize what you've already done that's good. So I love that one. Throw yourself a nifty at 50 party. I am throwing myself a party, but it is not called that. Maz and I are taking my mom and her partner Bob and Quinn and his girlfriend Leona to England, and we are driving to Yorkshire, and we are having afternoon tea on my birthday at Betty's Tea of York, which is my favorite place to have tea I've ever been. And when I turned 46 and we were there, I just simply said to Maz, I have to do this for turning 50. And I have been dogged in that desire for 4 years. So I'm ecstatic to be thinking about doing that. Embrace that 50 is nifty. Have enjoyable plans and goals. For me, that's traveling and doing other things like that. But no question, 50 is nifty if that's the case. Try out new activities. Just last week with my friend Sandra McCutcheon, who lives in Lincolnshire in England, is from Scotland, did an afternoon class on doodling, and I took it, and it was way out of my comfort zone because that's not the kind of thing that I'm very good at. I can't believe I can't find my little doodle. But, oh, here it is. Little show and tell. I'm not a visual artist. as I've told you time and time and time and time again, it was outside of my comfort zone, and it was really good for me. It did exactly what she said it would do, which was it calmed my mind. I didn't check email. I wasn't on social media. I was focused on this little singular activity, and it was an amazing way to spend 90 minutes. And I did it because I'm trying to push myself a little bit. Stimulate your brain. Okay, please. This woman looks 105 and depressed. Oh, I'm 50. That's not good. Anyway, also senior associates. For goodness sakes, I'm not a senior citizen. Your mind is key to turning 50 gracefully. Challenging your brain can keep you involved in life and may keep you younger longer. Yep, that's true. So take classes, lectures, seminars, things that interest you. Engage with your community and the world. Do you remember our first conversation with Scott Seiler, Rita, and Vinod Lal? Scott said, travel even inside your own community. And Rita and Vinod said, travel while your knees are still good. I loved both of those pieces of advice. There are ways to feel like you've stepped outside of your everyday in your own town. So figure out how to do that. Enjoy old and new friendships. What the hell is this illustration? Could these people look any more elderly? This is not doing anything to help me age gracefully. So keep the old people in your life, the longtime people and the old people who are important to you, and foster new friendships. Most of us don't really need new relationships, but sometimes someone comes along in your life who is so extraordinary that you think, I have to make space for them. Make space for them. Care for your health and well-being. You know, all those tests that come at 50, not very fun. Maintain a nutritious diet. Mix a variety of colorful fruits, such as pineapple, raspberries, and blueberries. Tell me something I don't know. Get regular physical activity. I'm pretty good at that. Get enough rest, because this woman is like 6 minutes away from death. Hospice should be at her door. For goodness sakes, I don't even dye my hair. Look at this woman and look at me. We're supposed to be the same age. I don't think so, kids. Get enough rest. I go to bed really early. Whether or not I stay asleep is a whole different issue. Attend counseling if you're struggling turning 50. I sort of feel like if you're struggling turning 50, that's a first world problem. There are lots of countries in the world where 50 is considered 1,000 years old because the average lifespan is less than that. In America, for many of us, if you are 50, you can still assume you've got lots and lots and lots of good years left. Oh my gosh, I'm bringing her on. Linda. Hi.
Oh my.
I just talked us through a very funny series of how to age gracefully at 50. Because
I
I thought,
caught a few of those.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
good.
Very interesting.
Linda, thank you for being spontaneous. I said before you got on that when in doubt, you go to a theater person and you say, hey, could you show up on camera in 27 seconds? Because they're almost always going to go, yeah, all right. So thank you
Being
for
prepared
that.
for theater and being prepared for technology, however, are two different things.
Two different things. Two very different things. I couldn't agree more. All right, I'm going to put this on so people know who you are. All right, Linda, let's get to the 3 questions. We're going to go a little bit long today to give Linda the opportunity to talk through these questions because I know you're going to have great answers. What are 1 or 2 of the most important lessons you learned before 50, Linda, that have served you well post 50?
Well, I think one of the hardest lessons I ever learned was actually really trying to take care of myself before others. I still don't do that well, but I think I'm getting better at it after 50. But, you know, when you have 6 kids and live in a small community, the demands on your time are pretty strong. And being that type of person that can't say no, you know, that made it just all the stronger. So yeah, there's that. That's probably the one big thing. Nurture your relationships, which I was not very good at, that I wish I had spent more time doing. And I think the thing before you turn 50 is the fact that so many relationships change immensely. You get married, you have children,
Mm.
and your relationships with both your spouse, your friends, and things of that nature. Everybody's kind of worlds go in a different way, and so I think nurturing your relationships, and sometimes it's deciding which relationships are really important to you.
Boy, isn't that true? I was sort of talking about this. One of the points was to, maintain old friendships and develop new ones. And most of us don't need new friendships, but some of us hold on to old relationships out of habit or because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. And I think that sort of becomes a weight on you if there are people in your life who you feel obligated to connect with rather than choosing to connect with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. What do you know now that you didn't know before that you'd love to go back and tell your younger self?
Oh boy. Of course, now I always tell everybody after I turned 50, it was all about me. And I didn't do that well
Mhm.
before, like I said earlier. It's like I wish I would have spent more time, and part of that me thing has to do with maybe devoting more time to family and less time to work and other commitments. Granted, we always have our family, but there are times where I look back and think, oh, I wish I would have gone to that out of town ball game instead of working until 10 o'clock that night. Or maybe I shouldn't have spent all those years on the ambulance squad and left my family behind, so many times, including on birthdays and holidays.
Yeah.
But overall, it really seemed like they totally understood that, because that's kind of the way I raised them. We
Mhm.
volunteer, and my boys followed in my footsteps. They served on the fire department and the ambulance squad also already when they were in high school.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't a bad thing in the long run, but
No,
now I'm
absolutely.
all about me.
Well, I think that's good, but here's what I find interesting about you, Linda. I would agree. You are all about you, but I see pictures of huge gatherings at your lake place in the summer, and you have people together for holidays. You didn't turn 50 and say, screw it, and walk away. You said, I'm going to take a shift, and you're welcome to come along with me, but this is the direction that I'm going. Hope to see you there. I
Well,
love that.
yeah, that's really true. I still do really enjoy all the family gatherings, and I love to cook. And so being on my own is not fun in the cooking realm. So I take every opportunity on holidays and gatherings at the lake. And we do, my dad at one point in time said, you can't be doing all of this by yourself. It's time for some of the younger generations to step up. And they have. And we do a lot of, we do, basically we have a compound out there. So
Mhm.
it's like 35 people on a weekend is not unusual because it's all family, and there's
Mhm.
4 generations of family out there often on weekends. So we do try to split things up. And on the really big weekends, we use Sign Up Genius, and we just do one meal,
Yep.
one cleanup, one prep on that weekend. And then everybody, is responsible for taking one shift. So that helps a lot. That
Well,
helps a
and I
lot.
would argue that, I mean, thanks to your dad for the encouragement, but also you deciding that you didn't need to just be the resident home servant to everybody else. That's a really healthy decision to get to where you think, gosh, I'm not just here to feed, clean, and house you. I'm a contributing member of this group as well, and as such deserve to also occasionally watch someone else clean up.
Right, right. And that's nice. And it's nice that they've really, it's like even at Thanksgiving dinner this week, the boys got up right away as soon as they were done eating and started the dishes, and
Well,
and they make the pies. It's not a male female thing.
yeah.
Mostly because I have 5 brothers and I have 5 sons and 1 daughter. So, it's like, okay, fair is fair around here.
Yeah.
And my husband set a great example also for the boys in that direction. He did, I mean, he still does all his own washing clothes and cooking and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
ironing his shirts. No way, not I. That's his thing. So
Well, it doesn't it
so the
doesn't
boys have,
seem to have affected either of you negatively, so that's good.
no, not at all.
All right, Linda, last question for you. What have been some of the most joyful aspects of turning 50 and beyond?
Okay. So I think some of the most joyful aspects is the additional freedom, the fact that I feel free to travel whenever I want to do theater, which is also, seems like it should have always been a passion of mine. However, it really wasn't. I did only one choreographed dance in a production in high school. That's all I did. I didn't do anything else because I was working when I was 16 years old. So,
Uh-huh.
I just didn't have time to do all that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's really nice now
I fear that I have lost
that
Linda.
I freeze.
Oh, yeah. Well,
You're frozen.
yes. Okay. Um, okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to wrap up today because it's been a rough day. But I really appreciate Linda getting on for me spontaneously and very last minute. I send a lot of fantastic love and thoughts to Anne and her family. Thanks for watching. We'll be on tomorrow with a guest, I hope. I have one lined up. We will make it work, Linda. Thank you so much, everybody else. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.